What is up, YouTube? It's Anthony Morello from Morello Sports, and today I'm going to be going over the NFL trade deadline that passed yesterday at 4 p.m., the outlook for all the teams involved, and of course my thoughts. But before I get started, 245 subscribers. We are 5 away from 250. Let's get there. But let's get straight into this. I think the perception on this trade deadline, it was boring, but I thought it was pretty busy. And starts with a trade like this. Sauce Gardner of the Jets going to Indianapolis for wide receiver Adonai Mitchell, 2026 first-round draft pick, and a 2027 first-round draft pick. And first I want to view this from the Colts' perspective, a team that nobody thought was going to be first in the conference through 9 weeks. When you have Daniel Jones starting at quarterback, and this is, of course, past Daniel Jones, Giants Daniel Jones, people thought that this team was going to stink. And Daniel Jones quickly shut those people up. Plays really good to start the season, just keeps it up the whole way through. And they're in win now mode, so why not? With Charvarius Ward on IR, it's a great move to really lock down that secondary. The offense is playing great, and if the defense can stay in sync, which they've been doing a good job, the defense has been playing pretty decent throughout the entire season. If they can even make that stronger, just can make the whole, or all three units, the offense, defense, special teams, more cohesive, and just play better football. The schedule is going to get harder, so we might see a little bit of losses start to stack up. But if Daniel Jones can play good football, he did struggle a little bit last week, this team has the potential to make a playoff run this year and maybe even get the 1 seed in the AFC, because the AFC is wide open right now. You would expect the Chiefs to be up there, the Ravens, but both those teams aren't even in the playoff picture right now. Going to the Jets side, they're in the gutter. 1-7, I mean... There's really no other way to put it. They're not a great football team. So they're going to unload guys that they can have value for, or that have value. And they did just that. Getting a developmental piece and 2 first-round draft picks. And they need a franchise quarterback. It seems like the Jets are always get a quarterback and doesn't work out. And this includes Aaron Rodgers, Sam Darnold, Zach Wilson. They just need to hit on one quarterback. And that's what I mean with every team that's rebuilding. That's just how it is. But it seems like the Jets, the longest playoff drought in professional sports, they just need to hit on somebody. So the more picks, the better of a chance they do that. I mean, they could pull the Browns and draft 2 quarterbacks, even though they don't start either of them. Well, Dylan Gabriel's now starting, but not the starters. Dylan Gabriel and Shedeur Sanders. And just hope one of them hits. I mean, at this point, it just seems like that's... They might have to too, because they really are struggling. That 2027 first-round draft pick could be very key, though, in my opinion. The Colts, obviously playing good football, so that 2026 first-round draft pick is not going to be anything crazy. Maybe in the 25 to 29 range. But let's say Daniel Jones regresses after getting a contract. And, yeah, we've seen that before by Daniel Jones. Look from 2022 to 2023. That 2027 first-round draft pick might be a high pick. So it could definitely be great on the Jets end, and also the quarterback class is better in 27 than it is next year. Next year, there's really not many. Of course, the quarterback that was supposed to be at the top of draft board was Arch Manning, and he's been awful the whole season for college football. So I guess that's just how it is sometimes. But if I were to grade this trade and who wins this trade, I have to say the Jets win this trade. Just for the fact getting those 2 first-round draft picks, that's really what they need. I have to see the Colts keep winning, and then, of course, that can change. But if I were to give it a grade, I think Jets get an A on this trade. I don't see any problem with unloading a player that's not in your time frame anymore. And the Colts, a B, B+. Just a guy in win-now mode, but they need to keep winning because the schedule's going to get harder, like I said before. Let's move on to the next trade, if I can get my cursor down here. Another Jets trade. We got Quinn Williams to the Dallas Cowboys for defensive tackle Mazi Smith. Quinn Williams being a defensive tackle as well. 2026 second-round draft pick and a 2027 first-round draft pick. Of course, getting Mazi Smith, just a guy that can replace him. Mazi Smith in PFF has been horrible. Not the greatest player, never really panned out. But on Dallas's end, they need all the defense that they can get. Second to last in defense right now. After losing Michael Parsons, it was expected. They've been dealing with injuries all year in that secondary. And teams just know that they can throw the ball on them. And obviously this is not going to help them really with that. But it's just going to make that defensive line better. Pairing them up with Kenny Clark, And that could shut down the run game, of course. But they've been doing a decent job this year shutting the run game down. But the pass game, they're going to need, if this trade is going to be very effective, they're going to need to get that pass defense right. And that means getting a guy like Trayvon Diggs back and, really playing well as a whole unit because they've been struggling the whole year. Whenever I see a guy in fantasy that's playing Dallas's defense, it's like, oh, I'm starting them because I know that they're going to score well. Just look at the Giants in week 2. Putting up, 37 to 38 against this Dallas defense? And that was with Russell Wilson at quarterback. And Cam Scatterwood didn't really have a role at that point. And he was just chucking bombs down the field, and they were getting caught because all those guys are ball hawks. That's just how it is there. Of course, with the Cowboys, Micah Parsons not being signed, they're going to have a lot of money, so they're going to be able to, pay this Quinn Williams contract, whatever they're going to need, even if it's, of course, a lot less money. But getting those draft picks for the Jets, definitely what they need. Again, just stacking up those draft picks because that's what you're going to need when you're rebuilding. Just a lot of talent and a lot of guys you could just be like, we'll plug you in. It doesn't matter if we're winning or winning and losing. We just want to develop you. And that's what the Jets are going to really be doing if they can hit on a quarterback in 2026, of course, or 2027. The next trade here on the list, we got Seahawks trading for Rashid Shaheed of the Saints. I'm just going to read the trade again. Seattle receiving wide receiver Rashid Shaheed, and the Saints receiving a 2026 4th-round pick and a 2026 5th-round draft pick. Actually, I have to grade, Quinn Williams trade. I think this is a pretty even trade. It's a win-now move for Dallas because they have to start winning games. They really have to win. And the Jets are just stacking up on first-round draft picks. I don't have a problem either side. A lot of fans criticize Jerry Jones for not spending, and he's doing it. He was on the phone yesterday. There's another trade, of course, also with Logan Wilson I'll be getting to later on, of course. Going back to the Rashid Shaheed trade, that is a great trade for the Seahawks. They have the best statistical wide receiver in the NFL right now in Jackson Smith-Njigba. Jackson Smith-Njigba is a guy that's going to get in the middle of the field and cook you down the middle of the field. What Shaheed does is be a deep threat. So the contrast can be really helpful. If you look from a safety's perspective, a safety drops too low, they're going to beat you up top with Shaheed. If safety drops back to guard Shaheed, they're going to hit Jackson Smith-Njigba. And they have a lot of other guys in that offense that play really well as well, such as Torrey Horton, guys like that. Sam Darnold keeps it up. This is a great trade for the Seahawks. And I think the Saints got the value they wanted back for him. They got 2 draft picks. Rashid Shaheed, a guy, really only a deep threat. And that's what they need. I don't have any problem with this trade, both sides. I thought they might trade Chris Olave, but that really didn't get off the ground. But if I would grade this trade, I do think the Seattle wins this trade for the sole reason of just that pairing. I mean, that's a lethal pairing. This offense is just going to get even better. And screw those draft picks. That whole offense is playing great. They have the talent on defense. I thought they were going to try to move. I think his name is Mafi and Tariq Woolen or Reek Woolen, but they weren't able to. So Seattle, I think it's an A trade. I don't see anything wrong with that. They were able to get exactly who they wanted. And for the Saints, I'd probably say a B+. They got the value back. And let's hope those draft picks really do something. Next trade here, the Jaguars trading for Jacoby Myers. And on the Raiders' point of view here, Jacoby Myers wanted out this whole time. So, just get rid of him. Bye-bye. And Las Vegas did receive a 2026 4th-round draft pick and a 2026 6th-round draft pick, so just a little bit less than what the Saints got for Rashid Shaheed. Trey Tucker's wide receiver 1, and I think getting even Brock Bowers is going to be just even better now. The Raiders, nothing really working for them this year. On the offense and the defensive end, just nothing's really there. I mean, drafting Ashton Jeanty in the first round, it just seems like, I'm not going to say it's a mistake yet, but Jeanty averaging less than 4 yards a carry has not been that great. I mean, it's just nothing much to that offense. On the Jaguars end, this is a solid trade. Travis Hunter's missing games because of his injury. Brian Thomas Jr., I don't even know what to say about him. He hasn't been doing anything. Really, he's been soft, as a lot of fans have been saying. And Jacoby Myers is one of those sure-handed wide receivers, catches mostly everything that's thrown to him, and will be a great addition to this offense if Trevor Lawrence can keep playing decent football. The Jaguars have been a pleasant surprise. They've been playing good football this year. I'm not going to say it's a win-now move, but it's a lateral move just to get them moving forward. In the absence of Travis Hunter, getting a guy there that can sub. And, of course, when Travis Hunter comes back, the more the merrier. There's not a problem with that either. But if I were to grade this trade, I think the Raiders win this trade just because Jacoby Myers didn't want to play anymore. I mean, they don't want to play anymore. Jacksonville's main task here is to get Brian Thomas Jr. right. That's what they have to do. If Jacoby Myers plays solid football, great, but it's not going to push them over the top. It's going to be a guy like Brian Thomas Jr. He was a first-round fantasy pick for a reason. And a high draft pick in general last year in the NFL draft. Moving on now, these trades I might be looking a little bit more onto my sources because I really do not know who some of these guys are. The Bears receiving Joe Tyron, Shoyinka, and a 7th-round draft pick in 2026, and Cleveland receiving a 2026 6th-round draft pick. Really, all the Bears needed here is pass rush help, and they needed someone to play with Montez Sweat. Just a lateral move to get a guy who can play, fill some voids in that defense, and just make the unit all better. Even trade, no really reason for me to be grading this trade since really nobody really knew who he even was. But a move that the Bears can really benefit from, of course. And here's the other Cowboys trade. Logan Wilson, linebacker, and Cincinnati receiving a 2026 7th-round draft pick. We talk about the two worst defenses in the league, and Wilson was a captain on the Bengals. And he's going to go from the worst defense to the second worst defense. So, but Logan Wilson, a very good player, great tackler, can go out in coverage. Dallas needs everything. Michael Parsons leaving. I'm just going to keep, kind of reiterating what I've been saying. Logan Wilson's now 29 years old, but I think he still has a decent amount left in the tank. He can play. Cincinnati receiving a 7th-round draft pick. They just want to get rid of him. There's nothing really going on for Cincinnati this year. Losing Burrow to start the year. Getting Flacco, but the game on Sunday was the nail of the coffin against the Bears. Back and forth game. That Colston Loveland touchdown was ridiculous. I don't know how else to put it. Just a crazy turn of events in that game. Now, if you look on that Bengals defense right now, Logan Wilson was a guy who started at the beginning of the season, and then rookies took over, but they're doing even worse. Probably was going to cut him in the offseason, but getting a draft pick is better than nothing. This trade, another trade, there's really no reason to be a grade. It's kind of just an even trade, a lateral move. Probably Dallas wins, though, just because they get a player here. They can help them win. The next trade, Trevor Penning, offensive tackle for a 2027 6th-round pick. I mean, hey, Chargers lost Joe Walter for Sean Slade. They need any help they have there. 6th-round pick back to New Orleans. New Orleans stacking the picks. Not a bad idea. 2027, if I didn't say. That offensive line's been banged up the whole year. They just need some guys. The Jets trading for Jasir Taylor, corner from the Chargers for a conditional 7th-round draft pick in 2028. Again, Sauce Gardner traded. Just need a guy to plug in, and that's exactly what they're going to do there. The Ravens traded for Dre'Mont Jones, and Tennessee receiving a 2026 conditional 5th-round draft pick. And he's been very good in these past weeks, generating 4.5 sacks. And that trade stock went up, and that's why it's a conditional 5th-round draft pick. And he's a very versatile player. Definitely can help the Ravens defense. The Ravens, a team just trying to get back on track, and they did look like that on Thursday Night Football a few weeks ago with Lamar Jackson finally coming back. The Ravens are going to be a good team. They're going to make the playoffs. I do not see them losing many more games. They're a team that knows how to win in the regular season. And with Lamar Jackson firing on all cylinders like he should, and if Derrick Henry keeps playing decent football, maybe a little bit above average football, this team is going to be very good. We're going to grade this. Another trade, it's very hard to grade. I think both are getting a B here. The Ravens get a guy who can pass rush, And Tennessee receiving picks. They're in rebuilding mode still. They're going to need the picks, of course. The next trade, the Eagles trading for Jalen Phillips of the Dolphins. Miami will receive here a 2026 third-round draft pick, so that's a big axe there. But Jalen Phillips, a guy, started his career, and he was a damn good player. A guy who was Pro Bowl caliber, but then injuries happened, of course. But he has been playing decent football this year. The Eagles, of course, win now, but they're trying to go back-to-back, so any help they can get on that defense, just make it even better, they're going to take. And Jalen Phillips is just going to do just that. The next trade, the Eagles again. The Eagles received cornerback Jaire Alexander and a 2027 7th-round draft pick. And the Ravens receiving a 2026 6th-round draft pick. I don't know why I screwed up people trying to say that. They need the corner help. Quinyon Mitchell, Cooper DeJean. But then they couldn't find that third corner. Adoree Jackson, terrible. Ringo, terrible. And Jaire Alexander for the Ravens, they took a flyer on him. That's the best way to put it. Did not play great. Week 1 against the Bills, he was getting fried. That's the only way to put it. Was a healthy scratch. The Eagles, a team maybe will be more motivated to play for. Trying to go back-to-back here. Great trade for the Eagles. I don't see any harm in doing this for a 6th-round draft pick. If he stinks, he stinks. One of the three must be okay. Adoree Jackson, another guy, proven in the league. Jaire Alexander, proven in the league. Even though they might not have that pep in their step still, they're still solid corners still. I would say the Eagles, a B+. And Baltimore, healthy stretch, get whatever you can out of him. Another B+. Another even trade here. Now, these are more of the trades that I'm just going to be speaking on just for a short amount of time. The Eagles deal for Michael Carter II of the Jets. Full trade, the Eagles receiving cornerback Michael Carter II, 2027 2nd-round draft pick, and the Jets receiving John Mechie III and a 2027 6th-round draft pick. I like this trade for both teams. And another corner for the Eagles. Just one of them has to work. On the other end, John Mechie could be one of those developmental pieces for the Jets. They have Anthony Mitchell and John Mechie, so getting two receivers that can be maybe long-term pieces for this team. Because let's just say they traded for a veteran receiver. Let's just say, I don't know, it's a tough one to do. Let's just say a guy like Mike Evans, just an old receiver, just doesn't fit in the time. But getting guys that really haven't proven themselves in the league, still on their rookie contract, not making much money at all, can be very beneficial if they can land a quarterback, like I was saying in the beginning of the show, episode. It can be beneficial if they can land a quarterback to have receivers that are just going to get better year by year. So, good move by the Eagles and a good move by the Jets, another even trade. Now, here's a trade I'm going to like to talk about since I'm a Patriots fan. The Steelers trading for Kyle Duggar. The Steelers, inconsistent defense. The Patriots, Kyle Duggar just fell out of the depth chart. He just wasn't there. He was playing with the second team. He was playing in the preseason. Didn't really do much. Pittsburgh also receives a 2026 7th-round draft pick. And the Patriots, receive a 2026 6th-round draft pick. Kyle Duggar just fell out of the scheme. The Steelers need someone. A good trade by the Steelers if Kyle Duggar can get back to what he was, because there's a reason why he got paid the money he did. Same thing with 49ers acquiring Keion White. Another guy who looked pretty promising and then just fell off for the Patriots. But I think the Patriots did let him go a little too soon. He did not fit in Vrabel's defense. That was the problem. San Francisco receiving defensive end Keion White, of course, the 2027 6th-round draft pick, and the Patriots receiving a 2027 6th-round draft pick as well. Of course, San Francisco's going to win this trade. They're going to get a player out of this. Keion White is still young. I mean, the Patriots maybe let him go too soon, but the Patriots have a lot of guys who are going under the radar this year. Let's just say guys like Kalavin Chaisson, Kyrus Tongue, I think his name is. They've been really good, so Keion White just fell out of it also. And injuries have destroyed the 49ers this year. Nick Bosa, Gross Matos, I think Huff was hurt for a little bit. So they just need guys to be down there. And a guy who has a little bit of upside, still not a bad move at all. The next trade being the Rams trading for Roger McCreary and a 2026 conditional 6th-round draft pick. Tennessee receiving a conditional 5th-round draft pick in 2026. And a great move here by the Rams. The Rams definitely winning this trade. the Rams need a depth at corner. Keller Witherspoon out. Darius Williams out. Emmanuel Forbes has been awful since he got to the league. I don't know why the Commanders picked him over Christian Gonzalez. They do have Quentin Lake, but they need someone else. And McCreary's going to do a good job there. And this will be the last trade I'm going to talk about today. This hops into trades from prior weeks. It's Jacksonville receiving cornerback Drug Newsome II, a 2026 6th-round draft pick. And the Browns receiving cornerback Tyson Campbell and a 2026 7th-round draft pick. This was a move on the books. It was a contract move. They have very different contracts and more of just a lateral move. Newsome is on his rookie contract and has a 5th-year option. Tyson Campbell struggling, so the Browns took a chance on him. Of course, the Browns, I guess, still rebuilding. So they just want someone who can be a developmental piece for them. Jacksonville might be a little more inclined to be going all in. Newsome, more proven corner than Tyson Campbell, but a good move nonetheless. Another even trade, just a lateral move for both teams. But that's going to be how we end this segment. Thank you so much for watching. A lot of plans coming for this channel, and I appreciate everyone for watching this video. See you in the next one. Peace out.